Greetings, YouTube, sneakertube.tv, Twitter, Facebook, sneakerplay.com. It's your man Air Jordan 14 back with a new video here. And we're going to be doing today is a performance review of the, oh, I just dropped him, of the Jordan Pure J's. All right. And as you can see, the white, black, and the Varsity red colorway. And I'm going to stand back a little bit. And as you know, I always like to start off my reviews with the inner of the shoe because, as I often say, it doesn't matter how good fit, traction, and cushioning is. If the shoe is rubbing your foot raw, then none of those things matter. Um, and hopefully, as you can see here, and I'll hold it up so you can see, the black portion of the inner is a smooth material that feels good. It's very comfortable, particularly from a casual standpoint. And there are some seams, but they're in a way that's they're not really raised, and they're not going to cause you any discomfort rather. And I didn't experience any, rubbing or excuse me, chafing or anything like that throughout my wearing of the shoe. Now, behind the tongue here, continuing on, is kind of, I guess you could say, almost a pleather. I guess you could call it a leather. A leather here, and which extends towards the top of the tongue there. And when I first saw this, I kind of had some concern about that, but all of that was quickly unfounded, and I didn't have any discomfort issues, wearing the shoe. So you don't have to worry about that. I know with some shoes, you have to worry about the tongue being an issue. With these, was not an issue. Let's move down to the bottom here. And as you can see, it's got what I call in certain areas, an enlarged herringbone, semi-herringbone rather, traction. And then you've got more in these areas, traditional herringbone there. And then you've also got that on your red pivot area here, as well as down in this area. The cushioning the traction rather on these was pretty good. Played on several different courts, even some that were not necessarily pristine. And I didn't, really experience any slippage or anything like that when I was making, hard cuts or anything like that. I noticed I didn't have to wipe my shoes off as much. So the traction on that is definitely good. And, shouts out to Jordan Brand for their use of this tried and true traction pattern in terms of the herringbone. Now, the cushioning. What you've got is a visible max air unit here, and then you've got encapsulated air here in the forefoot and within a Phylon midsole. And additionally, like I said, they're very comfortable just casually straight out of the box. But one of the things that did surprise me was the responsiveness of the Nike Air while I was playing. Of course, it's not as cushy or anything as something like a Zoom or something to that effect, but it was the responsiveness was much more noticeable in this shoe in terms of an air-based shoe, speaking of Nike Air, than I've ever experienced, and that was definitely a pleasant surprise, and I really enjoyed that. Also, in terms of that with the midsole there, like I said, the cushioning never bottomed out or felt dead or anything like that. And it did a great job of soaking up all those impact protection, when you're coming down and everything like that. Didn't have any pain or anything like that. And the cushioning just plain felt good. So, good job on the cushioning. Now, moving up to the upper here, for the most part, and I'll get a little closer If you remember my pickup, when I first got these, I kind of went into this, but I kind of jumped back in. Uh, Primarily a leather upper here. And then on the sides here, it's kind of, the toe is actually, this area, this forefoot is reminiscent of the Jordan 2010. Except it doesn't have the, you could slide under and it had that other forefoot. But in here you've got kind of like a reptile print type leather here. And then you've got patent here around the eyelets, and then you've got this perforated leather here, as well as here coming up on the heel as well. Now, in terms of the fit was good. I actually had to go back and extend my testing of these because initially I only thought the fit was so-so. And I realized part of it was my fault. I have a tendency to not necessarily tie my shoes up as tight as I need to. I'm just so ready to get out there and get busy on the court. Sometimes I don't tie them. They're laced up, they're just not as tight as I would need them to be in order to accurately gauge the fit of the shoe. And because of that, I was ready to just, not give it that a decent score in terms of fit. And once I did that, and actually rectified it by tying them up and a little bit tighter, and then one thing I'm going to show you here on the top here, as you can see, you've got 4 eyelets, which gives you different options, out of the Jordan 5 or something like that. And so I wanted to see which way was better, and I'll show you here. I've got it on kind of these two on this one, and then on the other one I've got it at the topmost and the bottommost. I actually prefer this setup here. Just for me, it felt a little bit better, but this other setup works very well as well. And I actually wore them like this at the same time so I could kind of see which one felt the best. So both of them, in terms of fit and everything, do a good job. Again, it's just a matter of personal preference. Now, in terms of fit around the midfoot, again, it's very good. It started off kind of so-so, but it definitely got better with subsequent wears. And around, say, the 4th one, and all points moving forward, it got to a level that was pretty good, and then it kind of stabilized from that point. So once you break them in, the fit around the midfoot is pretty good. Not as good as something like, say, a Hyperfuse or something, but it's still pretty good considering the material in terms of it being leather. But my own concern was the fit around the heel. Now, as you can see, this piece that kind of wraps up around the back here is made out of a hard plastic type. I don't know if it's TPU maybe or something to that effect. And this is kind of odd. I hadn't really run into this. In terms of locking down the heel, it did a great job. And let me just say that I didn't experience any front to back or side to side movement within the shoe. And the fit at the heel, in terms of holding it in place, I didn't have any heel slip or moving. However, it was good, but it wasn't as good as I would have liked it to be. I just particularly, not necessarily on the rear, more or less on the kind of wrapping around the medial and lateral sides of the heel. And I think it's because this piece comes up, if it were a little wider perhaps and wrapped around the back of the heel, I think that probably would have rectified the problem. As is, it's just good in this area here. This is where the heel fit is best. And then, like I said, around there, could stand to be a little bit better. Would have liked to had a little better fit right there at the heel. But like I said, that is not indicative of any foot movement because I hadn't. So all in all, the Jordan Pure J is a very solid shoe. And if you've seen my review on other Jordan brand shoes. I certainly hope this and some of the other shoes are indicative of a more performance thinking Jordan brand. I know all of the indications that I've gotten on the 2011s is that they're a blast on the court. So I'm hoping this kind of, as far as JB speaking, is kind of them turning the corner and kind of getting back to performance based, you know, instead of kind of just focusing on the aesthetics and the whole retro thing. So this is actually a very, very good shoe. Uh, you know, summer's coming up, so I know there'll be a lot of AAUs and traveling teams and all of those. And I know some of those have sponsorships or whatnot, but if not, or if you're just looking for a good shoe to hoop in, you know, for the summer and then just whenever, this is definitely a good pickup. If you can probably catch it on sale now, you know, just with all the releases that are coming, they're trying to move out some of the stuff, so you can probably catch them for a very good price. And if you can't, it's definitely well worth the pickup. It's definitely solid in all the areas, not necessarily excellent, but very good. It's not very heavy. It weighs at about 17 ounces, well 17.7, and these are a size of 11. So it's not featherweight, but it's not the heaviest shoe I've tested at this point, which was the LeBron 8. But definitely a good shoe. So if you can get your hands on it, you will enjoy it. Anyone from guards to even smaller post players, I think could definitely get into the shoe and be able to enjoy it. So, gonna wrap up the review on the Jordan Pure J here. I just really wanna appreciate everybody who's been watching my videos, who's been rating and you know, commenting, subscribing, and everything. I do appreciate everyone taking the time out to do so. We're over 200 subscribers, so I do appreciate that. Thanks for taking the time out to do that, and please continue to do so. Like I said, is you know, just hats off to everybody that's been watching the videos. I just really appreciate it, and hopefully you all are finding these performance reviews and things useful. And all the feedback that I've got has just been absolutely excellent, and I just much respect to everyone. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the lid on this review because I'm rambling. But again, thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned. Be back with some new videos and including the next installment of the ongoing collection series. We're up to volume 15. So that will be up for that in the next few days. I have some more performance reviews to do, so you know, stay tuned for those. As always, I appreciate you watching. Again, thank you for that. This is Air Jordan 14, logging off. Much peace, many prosperity, many blessings, everything. I'll catch y'all later.